Get started. All righty, Kari. Well, thanks for hopping on the call with me. I greatly appreciate it. First question for you is, can you take me back to the beginning of your journey when you kind of realized that you maybe wanted something more, or you were kind of looking for something within the digital space?
Yes. So actually, this starts quite a while ago. I have been on the search for something for so long. So in 2011, actually, is probably when I started. I was diagnosed with cancer. My ex didn't think that was very much fun. He left. I was not prepared to take on the mortgage
Mhm.
myself. And even though I was working a full-time job, that was not enough to pay for that. So I added a second job. And when that wasn't enough, I added a third job, and that still wasn't enough. And so things were really crazy there for a long time. I was just like, I have three little kids. I need to make something work. And that's when I started searching. So, gosh, there was a million things I tried. Like, I actually wrote it down a couple of weeks ago, and it was an embarrassing amount. It's like 31 different things that I have tried
Uh-huh.
since then, whether it's network marketing or affiliate marketing, drop shipping. I even paid for like a $10,000 Amazon course. Like I have if there's something online, I feel like I've tried it. And I just, every time you get in, you're like, this is it, and you get all excited and hopes up, and then it doesn't pan out.
Mhm.
And so I was very skeptical when I saw my friend posting online about this program, kind of rolled my eyes and I was like, ugh, it's got to be a scam. Sounds too good to be true. I've just been, hurt in the past.
Mhm.
So I didn't even look into it. But, finally, after 4 months, and she had made $50,000, I'm like, wow, that would be pretty cool. So I swallowed my pride and I was like, tell me what you're doing. And gosh, she showed me like how easy it was. Such a just set up, done for you, plug and play system. I'm like, I could probably do that. And so, yeah, I got started about a year ago and it has blown my mind. The results, I have never had something that worked the way that this has.
No, I love that. So aside from, searching for another income stream, was there anything else that you were kind of craving at that point as far as like maybe stability, impact, maybe even purpose?
For sure, yeah, safety and stability for me and the kids was number one. I just felt like, the rug had just gotten ripped out from under my feet. And
Mhm.
so when, I was born in that generation, both of my parents worked on a farm. So it was like if something's not working, you just work harder and longer and more. And so with me being the only parent that was doing anything for them, I was just like, I'm just going to do what it takes. So, yeah, safety and security was my number one thing that I was looking for, but always wanting to, make an impact. There's so many dreams that I feel like, God placed on my heart. And I just, especially during that time when I was barely living paycheck to
Mhm.
paycheck, wanted so badly to be pouring into others and, going on mission trips or, just buying new backpacks for my kids. Like we always had to do hand-me-downs
Mhm.
and just there were so many things that I couldn't do. I felt like a failure, like I was failing as a mom and it was awful. So I also just wanted to get out of that space. I knew that there was something out there that worked. I just needed to find it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's definitely tough. And I can relate, right? Because I have two children of my own, an 8 and a 9-year-old. And I'm also a divorced single dad. So I get the anxiety, right, that comes with being on your own and the thought of having to provide not only for yourself, even if you are a first-time parent and you have kids, that are pretty close in age like that, how you're going to provide for yourself, but not only and for them as well, right? And that's one of the toughest things to do, especially if you're put in a position where you really can't. That guilt of having to say no is probably and if you're a parent, is one of the worst things that you can experience, right? Having to look into a child's eyes and maybe tell them no for a simple thing as far as like maybe a candy bar, even a small toy, and they're staring back at you with those big, beautiful brown eyes, and it's like I can't even afford to get them, what they want because I'm put in this position. So I definitely can relate to that. As far as besides yourself, was there anyone else that was kind of being affected by the way things were going back then?
Oh yeah, namely my three people that I love the most, my kids. So, yeah, that was our house did go into foreclosure.
Hmm.
We had already been living with the sheriff sales and the notices and all the craziness of that for 3 years. But there was one morning that I stepped outside. It was in July, and I let the dog out into the backyard. And there he was again. The sheriff was literally sitting on my picnic table waiting for me to come outside because, yeah, I maybe had been trying to avoid him. And but he handed me the papers. He was like, ma'am, we're, starting the process again, putting your house up for auction at the county courthouse. And it was that day that, for 3 years, I've been trying to protect my kids. And I just felt like, okay, we've been really blessed to have 3 years without a mortgage, but this is not going to last forever. Like, so I sat them down that night for our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I remember it so vividly, like every detail of this, because it's so traumatic for me and probably for them. But like I was like, guys, we are cutting out everything. We need to move. Like I got to be saving money. And I said, we're cutting out your activities. And so for my oldest, it was dance. My son, it was basketball. My youngest, gymnastics. And I'm like, we're done. Like, and then even though it was July, I somehow thought I needed to add, and you're only getting one Christmas present, and I don't want you to cry about it because I just
Hmm.
like needed to prepare their hearts because it was going to
Right.
be, I felt like it was going to be an awful holiday. So yeah, that night, or when I told them that, just like you said, like they're sitting there and their eyes are like wide, and you can tell that they are scared out of their minds.
Hmm.
I run to the bathroom, bawling my eyes out, knowing that, yeah, I'm literally failing them and crying, crying, crying. And at one point, my youngest daughter knocks on the door. I open up the door and she is like, Mom, she was 7. She's like, we're going to be okay. She had packed a suitcase with like her books and Barbies and seashells. And she's like, I have lots of things for us to sell for money. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, as sweet as that is, like, I do not need my 7-year-old thinking she needs to save our family. So that night, I'm like, nope, I am doing whatever it takes. If it's a fourth job, a fifth job, like, I will do anything. I do not want to live in this space and to, yeah, have my kids be affected this way. So, yeah, I had to really work on my mindset, my beliefs, my worth. I mean, I had just been through the ringer, but, starting to believe that there was something out there, having hope again, and continuing to look for it until I found it.
Absolutely. I love that. So, who would you say that you're building this for, really?
Uh, Definitely still them. They're older now. They are two teens and a 22-year-old, and but I think I'm still just trying to pay off the guilt that I had so much, what they went through when they were younger.
Hmm.
Like, I want to now make memories. I was able to buy a boat last summer for our family with the money that Legacy Builders brought in. And I want time. I want all of us to come together to have something fun. We were able to go on vacation, like those type of things that I was not able to do for them when they were younger. So I just kind of feel like, yeah, I'm making up for all that lost time.
Definitely. No, and I'm glad you're able to do it now. That's one thing I love about this, right? Is just kind of being able to like repay them, right?
Yeah.
For all the, even though it wasn't had nothing to do with them, it's like I just want to repay you for everything that you had gone through, right? So yeah, that's awesome. What would you say is different about you now compared to when you had first joined the DG community?
I feel like I was honestly, the first time I posted, I was terrified. So now there's just much more confidence. I'm just like much more at ease. Just go with the flow. I'm excited about connecting, about building relationships, about helping others, impacting others, taking the focus off of me,
Mhm.
barely scraped by for so long. But now that I'm past that point, I'm like, who can I help? Let's go. Let's do this. And, what took hours, creating content initially. Now I'm like, okay, it's easy. There's just so much more in place. Number one, with my mindset, with my beliefs, with my hope level, with the encouragement that I have for others with this program, but then also just like the know-how of logistics and content and hooks and building an email list and all the important things that we've, learned to do.
Absolutely. So, speaking of on all the things that you've learned to do, with this, is there something that you're most proud of accomplishing so far?
Honestly, it's the stories of the other women that I have helped. There's a couple that come to mind. There was, I think the fourth person that I signed up. She was a single mom. She's like, I don't even know how I can do $900. And so I helped her figure that out with a payment plan. And she went on to do 30K in 30 days. She made
Wow.
103,000 in less than 6 months. I have another friend who I also signed up very shortly after her, and she's in ministry, doesn't have a huge business
Mhm.
marketing background, but like she also did over 100K in less than 6 months. And then
Wow.
what maybe one of the most fun examples is another one of my friends that I helped get started. She made 16,000 in her first month, but that last payment came in while she was riding on a roller coaster with her. Love that because that's the best thing about
Yeah.
this. This has brought back my time freedom, obviously financial freedom, but like this with the automations, oh my gosh, I've just never had anything like this that runs in the background that, yeah, you get sales while you're riding a roller
Uh-huh.
coaster. So,
Yeah, it just adds to the excitement. Yeah, that's
oh,
one thing I love about this is it doesn't matter who you are, what background you come from. It's literally as simple as plugging it in, right? A plug and play system, as I like to say, right? It's just as this has already been laid out, right? All the mistakes have been worked out, so it's just like essentially then it's like Michelle and Mike are coming back to the beginning and holding your hand through the entire journey till you figure it out, which I love about that. Um, so you had mentioned mindset a little bit. Um, was there a type of, or maybe even a shift that happened for you when you had got started with this?
you know what I kept saying over and over and over to myself is like, if she can do it, I can do it. If he can
Mhm.
do it, I can do it. I just had to keep feeding my mind with the awesome wins from our community, from the webinars, like just of, like you said, everyday people, 60-year-old grandma,
Mhm.
uh, welder who got fired from his job, like just regular people that are winning. And I just stayed really positive, stayed full of hope. I think Michelle does an amazing job of really speaking this into us and keeping us encouraged. And yeah, that's been a huge part. And I've loved it because it's changed me and my outlook. And now how I speak to, yeah, my friends, my kids, the people that I'm helping. Like we have to, I used to think that there was like some secret strategy I was missing out on, but it
Mhm.
really does start in the mind and building our beliefs. And so now I'm just, because I've experienced it, like I'm able to help others with that.
Absolutely. No, I love that. So so you're in a little different position, right? Because you've already seen success with this, right? And so most of the people that I hop on these with, are just getting started or in the midst of it. What has it meant so far to you, not only yourself, but your family, like your future, since being able to accomplish what you have since getting started with this?
Yeah, this has changed everything. My life today looks very different than it did a year ago. My first month, I made, I think, 53,000.
Hmm.
I 6 figures in 67 days. Like
That's
that,
awesome.
unreal to me. Like just even still saying that out loud, I'm like, really me? Like it's mind blowing. I've always just thought like, oh yeah, good things happen to other people, but not me, or they must have a big following or whatever. Like, no, like this is I kind of do believe that this is meant for all of us. You
Hmm.
just like number one, find the right offer, which we have. Number two, believe in it and just go for it. Like this is uh, changed my life. So yeah, I'm much happier. I have the time freedom. I quit my job in November.
Hmm.
Like there's just it's completely night and day different than a year ago.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what do you think is the biggest thing, or maybe even a couple things that you learned about yourself since starting this whole journey?
That is a great question. I do believe that we are all meant for so much more than we're maybe living or even dreaming and believing for. I really believe that. Like when I feel like at a certain point we might give up on those type of things. You know, we put our kids first, you know, our jobs first, and we're at the end of the list. And I always felt like this restlessness about I feel like I am meant for more than just living paycheck to paycheck, but I was never able to experience it. Now that I have, I'm just like, ah, there is such a beauty, a peace in my life that I haven't ever had until now. And then just like a deep level of like purpose and fulfillment in helping others do the same. You know, because I do feel like so many of us
Hmm.
tried a million things and it hasn't worked. And so we're a little jaded, we're a little guarded, but like, yeah, for me, it was number 32. So grateful that I didn't give up on that and that I kept going. And that now I'm at a place that I can bring hope and encouragement and be speaking life and, um, you know, abundance into other people's lives. It's huge for me. I feel like this is the life and that restlessness that I always felt like this is it. I am here and I am helping others have that same impact, and that means everything to me.
Yes. No, that's amazing. I love that. And I think it's going to resonate deeply with a lot of people who hear it as well. So, what advice would you give to someone who is maybe in your shoes at one point, or is possibly on the fence with something like this, or just scared to even start? What's something you would tell that person?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I was certainly still scared. Like, the fear is going to be normal. Like, don't let that be a sign of, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Like, starting anything new, you're going to have a little bit of apprehension, anxiety for sure. But also, like, that's our brain trying to keep us in our comfort zone. And life-changing income does not happen in our comfort zone. So like, are you going to have to do some things that like aren't maybe comfortable? Putting yourself out there, creating video, learning new skills. Yeah, but like, isn't it worth it? Like, I can tell you being on the other side, it's 100 million times worth it.
Hmm.
So yeah, like all the skills that you need to be successful in this business are learnable. It's not like something only a few of us are born with and you just, you know, either naturally have it or you don't. Like, no. I truly believe that to do well, these are all just learnable skills. And yes, you know, it's not going to be maybe easy right away at first. Anything new is not going to be easy, but stick with it, practice it. It's like building a muscle. You will get better. Stay consistent, stay coachable, keep your mind in that place of hope. And I do believe it's going to happen.
Definitely. No, that's such great advice. Hit the nail on the head with that one. So, last question for you. What do you now know is possible since joining the DG community?
I have been setting bigger goals than I ever would have in my life, for so many years, like 40 plus years of my life. I'm like, oh, I'm just a small town girl from the Midwest, like not really meant for anything more than paycheck to paycheck, maybe, a vacation every other year, something like that. But like now I'm like, no, like
Mhm.
Michelle has really encouraged us to set big goals. And so, I would have died saying, yeah, my goal is $1 million. Like those words would not have ever come out of my mouth until this program. And now I'm like, yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm just like the belief is there, the vehicle is there. Like I just got to keep taking the steps. And I literally believe it's gonna happen.
Definitely. No, I love that. So I want to thank you again, Kari, for hopping on with me. You're great. I'm excited to see, more of your success and where it leads you. And hopefully we can hop back on another one of these calls. That way you can update the people on what you've been doing.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Kari. Have a great day.